Oh, no.
Let me say this slowly, because people always get it wrong. We were not pretending to be friends. We were friends, all of us. We met in the first year of university. Same hostel block, same empty pockets, same fear of dropping out if money finished. We were 3 guys and 1 girl, sharing one small room that always smelled of instant noodles and cheap soap. We were gay, apart from my female friend, of course. We didn't announce it. We didn't wear it like a badge, but we knew ourselves. Money was a problem from the beginning. School fees, rent, food, transport, everything needed cash, and cash never waited for feelings. So we did what many people won't admit out loud. We sold what people wanted, what men wanted. Older men, married men, lonely men, men who liked silence and secrecy, men who paid to feel in control. That was how we survived. At first, it worked for all of us. We shared contacts, we shared rides, we shared tips on staying safe. We laughed about it sometimes because laughing made it feel lighter. Then she entered the picture properly. She had always been there, but suddenly she was there. She was not loud, not dramatic, just beautiful in a clean, effortless way. Smooth skin, soft voice, eyes that didn't beg. Men noticed her without trying. At first, it didn't worry me. Different market, I thought. We were men, she was a woman. No competition. But I was wrong. Men who used to call me started asking questions. Can you bring your beautiful friend I saw next time? I don't want you today. I want her. They said it calmly, like they were changing food orders. Soon, the money shifted. She came back with more cash in one night than we made in a week. Gifts followed. Phones, shoes, bags. She never showed off. She never mocked us. She even paid for food sometimes. That kindness burned because it came with silence. Men stopped calling us, stopped replying, stopped negotiating. They wanted her. I heard one man say on the phone, laughing, "Why would I pay for men when the girl is right there?" That sentence stayed with me. At night, I lay awake listening to her breathe across the room, calm, steady, like someone who was safe. And I realized something that scared me. She didn't steal anything from us. She didn't plan anything. She didn't even know what she was taking. She was just existing. And because of that, everything we built started falling apart. That was when the anger began. By the middle of the semester, the room no longer felt the same. We were still sharing space, but we were no longer sharing life. I noticed it first in small ways. The silence when she entered, the way phones stopped ringing on our side of the room, the way she started keeping her money separate, not because she was selfish, but because there was more of it. Men stopped asking about us completely. When they called, it was her name they said, not mine, not ours. Some nights, she didn't even sleep in the room. She would leave quietly and return before morning, tired but calm, like someone who had done a normal job. She never lied about where she was going. That made it worse, because there was nothing to accuse her of. I watched myself change. I became careful with my words, careful with my face, careful not to show how useless I was starting to feel. One night, a man I had worked with for months called me. I answered quickly, hopeful. He said, "Can you send your friend instead?" Just that, no greeting. I laughed on the phone. I even agreed. When I ended the call, my hands were shaking. That night, I did not eat. Another night, she came back with enough money to pay part of our rent. She placed it on the table and said, "Let's manage this." Manage? Like we were children. I smiled. I thanked her. Inside, something folded. We started talking behind her back. Not openly, just little comments, small jokes that carried sharp edges. She doesn't even struggle. She doesn't know what it's like. She thinks she's better. But the truth was simple. She had become the option, and we had become leftovers. The worst part was the men. They talked about her like she was a prize. They compared us to her openly. They laughed. One man said to my face, "You people are fine, but the girl makes it feel real." That sentence broke something in me. I started watching her differently, not with hate yet, with counting eyes. Counting how many times she left, how many times she returned with cash, how many doors closed behind her and stayed closed for us. She noticed the distance. She tried to bridge it, asked if we were okay, asked if we needed help. Help! I wanted to scream. Instead, I nodded. That was when we started talking seriously among ourselves. Not shouting, not plotting loudly, just sitting on our beds at night, asking quiet questions. What happens if this continues? What happens to us? What happens when no one wants us anymore? No one said her name at first, but we all knew who the questions were pointing to. By the time we finally said it out loud, it didn't sound shocking. It sounded practical, and that scared me more than anything. I still remember the night clearly, because nothing about it felt dramatic at first. It felt ordinary. She came back late as usual, dropped her bag, sat on her bed. She was tired, not happy, just tired. She said, "I think I'm done with this life soon. I want to save enough and leave." That sentence landed badly. Not because it was wrong, but because it meant she had a way out. The rest of us didn't. She talked about moving out, about starting something small, about how she was tired of men touching her like she was an object. I wanted to laugh. I wanted to ask her if she thought we were being touched for love. Nobody interrupted her. We listened quietly. That was when I noticed something dangerous. She was not bragging. She was planning. That night, we stayed awake long after she slept. The room was dark, phones off, no music. We talked in low voices. This time, it wasn't questions, it was decisions. We told ourselves lies to make it easier. We said she didn't care about us anymore. We said she had taken opportunities meant for all of us. We said she would leave and forget us. We said the world was unfair and someone always pays. I remember saying, if she goes, we disappear. No one argued. When we touched her, it was not sudden. She woke up confused, thinking it was a joke. She tried to laugh. When she woke up fully, the confusion on her face changed the room. Her eyes moved from one face to another, slowly, like she was counting us, like she was trying to understand what version of us was standing there. That was when fear entered the room. Her mattress shifted. The bed frame made a soft sound against the floor. Something fell, maybe a phone. No one bent down to pick it up. The fan kept turning. Her voice dropped when she spoke our names, like calling people who are supposed to answer. She begged. That hurt the most. The room smelled different after that. Sweat, fear, something sharp and human. Time became strange, long and short at the same time. When everything stopped moving, the silence was worse than noise. She lay still, too still. Her eyes were open, but not looking at anything. That was when reality finally entered the room. Not like shock, like weight. We stood there, staring at what we had turned a living room into. A place where someone used to breathe, a place where laughter had lived. The mattress was crooked. The bed frame was half pulled off. One pillow was on the floor, pressed flat like it had been stepped on. Nothing looked broken, but nothing looked right. We didn't cry. We didn't talk. We just moved, slowly. We cleaned, we packed, we acted like people who still had a future. We wiped surfaces, we straightened things that didn't need to be straightened. We folded clothes that didn't matter anymore. By morning, we were not friends anymore. We were people with a secret too large to carry properly. People noticed she was gone. Questions started. We answered, calmly, too calmly. She traveled. She found work. She didn't say much. People believed us because they wanted to, but belief does not erase truth. Every time a man called asking for her, my stomach tightened. Every time I saw her empty bed, I avoided looking. We thought balance would return. It didn't. What returned was guilt, fear, and a silence that never left. I tell this story now because pretending did not save me. Because some nights, I still hear her say my name. I still see that room when I close my eyes. Not because of what we did, but because of how normal it looked afterward, and how evil that normality felt.